My body had about 90% of it was covered with psoriasis. I kept
Wow.
going back to the health center on campus, and the doctor kept saying, "Well, why are you back? I already told you there's no cure. It's hereditary, and there's nothing you can do other than use some creams." I says, "Well, I've checked with everyone in my family all the way back. No one ever had this before."
Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
In a world where Big Pharma writes the script, it's time to believe. Biohack. Become.
We're here to explore the truth about healing that exists outside the broken medical system, to give you the knowledge, the community, and the strategies you need to become the hero of your own health story.
Your guide is a biohacking entrepreneur, a near-death survivor, and a cancer warrior, navigating his own healing journey. Founder of Biohackingville, Exodus Strong, and QE Strong. Your host, Rob Rene. This is Biohackingville, where the medical system has failed us. One man is leading the rebellion to reclaim.
Hey. How are you? We are back with a fun episode of Biohackingville. And today I am so excited. I've got an amazing guest, and we're doing this live, which is going to be a lot of fun. I have Jamie Dorley. He is the CEO of Nutritional Frontiers, an amazing organization you're going to learn a lot about. So would love to welcome Jamie to the show. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing great, Rob.
There we go. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, and thanks so much for having me back on. I'm so excited to join you again, and I appreciate everything you're doing. A man of faith. We have a lot of similar passions in life, and one is, of course, our faith, and the other one is we're on a mission, and it's very simple: make your world and the world healthy. So whatever I can do to help you and all the people out there, we're here for you.
Amen. And you've been awesome to me in the past, and I'm excited to continue our partnership moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. So today I'm just stoked. Right? There's so many things that we can talk about. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Is there anything that's like really hot on your?
Well, one is I want to know how the Annie Appleseed event go. I heard my girls got you into the show. So
yes, it was amazing. Yeah, Christine and the team were amazing. The team, they did great down there. Right, the Annie Appleseed event, for people who have not heard of it. Or haven't watched the show, when I discussed it, it was an amazing event. It's an event that's been going on for decades, and this woman who ended up having cancer created this Annie Appleseed project, and she brings experts from all over the world to talk about the big C word, and man, these guys do an amazing job of just helping people, right? We've been brought together, Tracy Straub, right? The amazing quarterbacking cancer a woman, and she highlighted the event, and that was exciting to see her and what she's doing. And man, just the people I met down there was phenomenal. So it was a great event.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's part of our community. Dr. Tracy Straub is our director of education. We have a new educational program called NFU, Nutritional Frontiers University. It's for healthcare professionals all over the land, and we're launching that in Q2 of this year. So we're very excited. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, that is very exciting. In fact, I would love just to back up to the 30,000 foot level for people who don't know Jamie Dorley, right? So I'd love to make sure that we do a proper introduction, right? I just introduced you as the CEO, but my gosh, you are so much more than that. And so I'd love to have you give us a quick background of yourself. How did you get to do what you're doing today? I know it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. My brother's 5 years older, and I got a brother 5 years younger. And somewhere in the mid to late 70s, around 77, my brother introduced me to a movie called Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbu and the whole crew. And I was fascinated by muscle at that age. And I says, wow, I don't know how you can look like that. But, you know, my brother and I, again, 5 years younger, he started working out with the weights, and I followed his footsteps all the way through junior high, high school, and into college. And I always had a passion for working out and sports. I wasn't the most gifted athlete, but I always overcame with my hard work and effort and my big heart. That's what I was known for.
There you
And
go.
in college, I was actually, my dream was to be a sports medical doctor for the Dallas Cowboys growing up.
Hey, there you
And,
go. There you go.
yeah,
You could have been
here
my
in
neighbor.
B-Town right now. Yeah. And now I'm in Pittsburgh, so I got to watch what I say. But
That's right. That's
you know, I
right.
got an autoimmune condition, a diagnosis as a sophomore in college called psoriasis. So it's a very flaky skin, irritated skin, itchy condition. And, you know, it's not exactly something you want at any point in life, especially as a single young man in college, right? It's
Right. Right.
my body had about 90% of it was covered with psoriasis. I kept
Wow.
going back to the health center on campus, and the doctor kept saying, well, why are you back? I already told you there's no cure. It's hereditary, and there's nothing you can do other than use some creams. I says, well, I've checked with everyone in my family all the way back. No one ever had this before. So I kept going back to him, and he finally says, you know, I've seen you enough. I actually did a little research on this, and it could be tied into GI, liver function, and stress. He's like, do you drink alcohol? I'm like, well, I'm a sophomore in college, yes, and been under a lot of stress lately. And then the more research I did, I figured, well, the least I can do is change my diet, right? Because I got to school, my diet kind of went off course, and I said, I'm going to go back to my workouts. I'm going to eat as good as I can. I took some nutrition courses, and then boom, I had a new advisor in college. He was a medical doctor, and he was back in school to teach functional medicine and prevention. And he was a third generation medical doctor. And I asked Dr. Fallon, well, why would you come back to school to teach if you're an MD? He says, great question. He says, you know, it's too late when someone's 40, 50, 60 years old and comes into my practice and they're sick. He says, I need to go after students and get them while they're young. So I said,
Awesome.
oh, you got my attention. So that shifted my career path from sports medicine to community health, public health, and now what they call functional medicine. I got certified by the American College of Sports Medicine right after college to become a personal trainer. I did natural bodybuilding. I won some competitions. And,
Nice.
you know, growing up as a, back then they called stocky or husky or chubby, you know, I was a thick kid, right? And I
Right.
still
Right.
am. But I realized that people that are in very, very good shape, it's not just genetics. They actually have to eat well and work out and do all the good things. So I
Right.
learned a lot in college in a few years there. And what I found out is you actually have control over your health, regardless of your age, your condition, your diagnosis, or your genetics. And I was taught at a very young age that medicine tends to run for the cure, right? You see these 10K races and 5Ks, and
Right.
hey, run for the cure of cancer, run for the cure of diabetes. They haven't cured anything, Rob, have
I
they?
know they exactly. It's like they raise a lot of money, but they haven't cured anything.
Well,
Right.
always remember when you're giving money to some charity organization, a great charity, 5 or 10% of it actually goes to the cause. The rest of it is administrative fees. That's a
Isn't
great
that
one.
sad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, really
So
sad.
sad.
So I realized that, you know, what was the cause of my issues? Well, stress, liver congestion, and candida. Oh, right. So candida is one of the top 3 underlying causes of any chronic condition that is often undiagnosed by the conventional, I call it modern medicine, allopathic physician. So I found that their top 3 underlying causes of any condition at a younger age is going to be candida. Number 2 is going to be parasites. And number
Mhm.
3 is going to be hormone and thyroid dysfunction, typically hypo or low thyroid function. So let's talk about candida and parasites, right? Because
Yeah.
I say that and people roll their eyes. They go, parasites have worms? I go, yeah. And you have
I know
yeast.
people they don't want to know that they actually have them in their body, right? It's not a comfortable thing to know But it
No.
is amazing how many people have them and don't understand it. And like everybody has them, right? So it's almost
And
impossible
they're
not to
tied
have
into so many conditions. The number one
them.
reason people go to functional medicine doctors is that they don't get the results going through the modern medicine doctor, right? They don't
Right.
get the results because look at it this way, Rob. I ask a lot of questions, right? I guess growing up the way I did and being a Virgo, my dad was a military police and he was a sergeant in the New York Police Department. So he was used to asking a lot of questions, and so am I. So I always ask a lot of questions, and I always say, okay, let's look at this system, right? This is a system that's broke because we spend more money per person than any country in the world, right?
Right.
We take 2/3 of the world's medication are consumed by the U.S. We're only 5% of the world's population, 300 million out of about 6-7 billion. So think about if you had a party at your house and you had 20 people there, 5% would be one person. So imagine that one person consuming 2/3 of the food and drinks at the party. Right? Yeah. And still not being full and still being thirsty because it's not working. How do we
Right.
know it's not working? The World Health Organization actually ranks us 37th in healthcare systems in the world, and even worse, 72nd in health.
Wow.
Now, I'm
Yeah,
not going to
that's
put you on the
brutal.
spot, but it might be challenging for you to come up with 72 countries, right?
Right.
We rank
Right. Exactly.
72nd in the world. We're last of the top developed nations, the leading top 13, Japan, Italy, Greece, US, Canada, UK, Spain. We rank last out of those top countries in the world in health. So it's not a money thing because we're spending more money. We're
Right.
consuming more medications. And so I ask, why isn't it working? Well, it's a very simple answer. It's actually put out in JAMA around 2005, where they said, we have failed the chronic patient. And the article really talked about how, modern medicine, they are miracle workers. If
Yes.
you have an acute trauma, right? God forbid you have a heart attack or a stroke, go to the hospital. They will save your life. Well, what happens if you have a headache?
Right. You go see the white coat and they give you a pill and it's automatically fixed, right? That's the way I was raised. That's what
Yes.
I was taught.
Yeah. So what they had said in JAMA, and what we start to understand now, is that we spend more money than any country in the world. We take 2/3 of the world's produced medications. We are ranking 37th in our system and 72nd in health. So it's not working. And JAMA actually admitted we have failed the chronic patient because our medical system, third-party reimbursable insurance, is set up for acute care. However, most, over 82% of all doctor visits are for chronic care. High blood pressure, cholesterol, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel, heartburn, reflux, diarrhea, constipation, low energy, can't sleep, headaches. It goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
These are not acute issues, but they're
Right.
treating them acutely with prescription medications. In fact, properly prescribed medications is within the top 5 causes of death in the U.S. Properly prescribed medications.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Huh? The properly one. I mean, that just, imagine the ones that aren't properly
Yeah.
done, right?
And thank God I was so inquisitive during college when I had this psoriasis issue, because
Yes.
now my body's 99% clear. We
That's
just went
awesome.
through a couple moves with the business and everything. And, I had a little minor, like 1%. I saw a little spot the other day, but compared to what I would go through before, and that clears up right away with our Candid Kill. So
Nice.
I've worked with into sports nutrition in the 90s as a trainer. And then, I started selling the supplements and stuff you'd buy at GNC. And some of it was very good and some of it not so good. And then right around 2000, there's the father of functional medicine is Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He's a PhD. He originally owned HealthCom and was one of the founders when they partnered up with Metagenics. So I worked for Dr. Bland and the Katke family and worked with healthcare professionals. And I was fascinated that there was actually this whole thing called functional medicine. Some people
Right.
may know it as holistic, alternative, integrative, complementary, naturopathic. But that's really what conventional medicine is naturopathic medicine.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and that's what frustrated me when because I'm like brand new into this world as far like 6 years ago, right? I was in the corporate world. I was doing my job. I was selling the enterprise software. I didn't care about anything else, right? I was like I didn't have a clue, right? And then the pandemic hit, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I take care of my family? So I started doing research, and my gosh, my whole world got turned upside down when I started realizing what you learned from a very young age, right? So it's pretty cool that you have been in it so long, because I just came aware of it 6 years ago, right? And I'm like, holy smokes, we are upside down with our healthcare, right? And I started researching that and how it got taken over in the early 1900s. And it's like, what the heck? How's that possible in the great United States of America, right? So it's fascinating to talk to you, because when I was doing that research, it was like amazing how good of a job they did back in the Rockefellers did on bashing and vilifying all natural health providers, right? So everything you just mentioned, they just vilified, and they tried to get rid of it, and they did a dang good job of it, right? Because back in the early 1900s, about 50% of our practitioners were holistic practitioners. There were people that were doing what you're saying, and then the other 50 were regular medical doctors. And now look at the percentage, right? It's like 0.1% of the doctors are holistic or functional or holistic compared to all the other doctors that are out there. So it's just it's amazing to see what's happened.
Well, you can tell by your passion and enthusiasm that you are fascinated with this whole field of functional medicine, nutrition, and naturopathic, right?
I am so deep into this because God built me in a special way, right? When I was I was a runner, right? When I was a young man, and my goal in life was to be a professional runner. But guess what? One of the reasons why I was a little bit better than my competition was because of nutrition. So I'd learned how to eat well, and my competition was eating hot dogs and hamburgers, right? And I'm eating really, really healthy. And at the end of my races, I was a distance runner. At the end of the races, I always had energy. I could always outkick them. I always, could beat them because I knew how to fuel this temple of mine, right? So that's what I went back to when the pandemic hit, and I started looking into things. I'm like, man, I know nutrition is super important, so I'm going to start doing that. And then, like, how can I keep my family safe? I'm going to go start looking at ways I can, find nutritional products like all the things that you provide. I was searching out because I want to keep my family safe, right? So anyway, it's been a fascinating journey this last six years, just digging in and understanding, and I just love meeting people like yourself who have been so deep into it and just are really helping people in a dramatic way. So that's what I love. So you met this family, you started working for them. Go to how did you get to Nutritional Frontiers?
Well, it's interesting. I want to comment on one thing you had mentioned about Rockefeller, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned about in this country about the big dollars, right?
Right.
You can't talk about God in school, right? Not allowed anymore. Can't talk about God at work, right? But it says right on the dollar bill, "In God we trust." Right? So that's the new religion in our country is money.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way back to Rockefeller. Plus, I'm in Pittsburgh, right? The home of Andrew Carnegie, who's a steel mogul. And he was actually involved. Pittsburgh was the richest city in the world at one point because of the steel boom. Everyone here was really wealthy. And I was actually at an event last night at the Carnegie Music Hall, which was awesome. Andrew Carnegie's place. Yeah. So it's interesting because when you look at it, him and Rockefeller teamed up in the 30s, wherever it was back then. And, and they really created this whole American Medical Association, petroleum-based prescription medications. And like you said, the issue really is that they discredited all the naturopaths, shut down the schools, put people in jail. I work with IW Lane College in Orlando. They came in and chained the doors there, going back 20 years and shut them down. So, so I work for the Metagenics company, and unfortunately, they were sold in 2007 the first time. And that's when I called Dr. James Wine. He was a chiropractor nutritionist out of Pittsburgh and one of my former clients. And I called him for his birthday, and he said, "I thought you were going to run my business." I said, "Actually, I'm calling for that, Doc." So we met a few times, and with a handshake, we decided to start Nutritional Frontiers. And
Oh, awesome.
it was really based on a few key principles. One is we wanted to be a faith-based, family-owned, mission-driven, Pittsburgh-based company. And our mission is really simple: make your world and the world healthy. And we do that
Awesome.
through education. We want to empower people. Just like you had that aha moment during COVID, so did a lot of people. And why is
Yeah.
that, Rob?
Yeah.
Because they found out Big Brother is not going to help them.
Yeah, exactly. I found out the opposite.
Yeah, they kill
Right?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, they admit now that the vaccine didn't work, right? And if it did minimally, generally, Doc would always say, if you're going to take any medication, let it be on the market for 7 years. I'm not anti-medicine, but
Right.
if the medicine is not on the market for 7 years, guess who they're doing the research on? You.
Right.
Because it takes that long to get all the studies in to see what are the long-term ramifications. And we know, from the spike protein, what that actually is. However, what happened during this time too is it was like a revolution for nutraceuticals in the wellness industry, because something like SPM at Nutritional Frontiers, my company, pro-resolving mediators, you can go on PubMed right now, anyone listening, type in specialized pro-resolving mediators in COVID on PubMed, the #1 resource website out there, and over 1,000, Rob, published studies pop up on SPMs. And I'm
Wow.
very proud that we have a great SPM formula, and we're the first company in the world to come out with a liquid SPM. So SPM is fantastic for what? Resolving unresolved inflammation. So when you have the
Interesting.
cytokine storm, if you had an injury from running years ago and your knee still hurts, omegas work, fish oils work, boswellia, turmeric, those things work. But the SPMs, the specializing pro-resolving mediators, they're like Pac-Man. They go in deep in the body and they clean up all this unresolved inflammation. It's like, sweeping the floor with the broom, but then getting down on your hands and knees and cleaning out the corners, right? It gets all those
Right.
nooks and crannies in the body where the unresolved inflammation needs to be cleaned up. This was actually studied at Harvard School of Medicine by Dr. David Sinclair, and the research is unbelievable. Things like pain scores down 28.9%. Now think about this as an alternative or a first line of defense, and all the people have been suffering over the years on pain medications.
Yeah. One of the things you probably don't know about my story is that when I started looking at how I could help the world, I was like looking at nutraceuticals, and I was going to create some of my own to help people. And then I got introduced to this frequency medicine company, and they were helping people with a skin patch, and the patch had a frequency on it. And I thought they were nuts, right? I'm like, give me a break, right? You're going to put a sticker on me? It's going to help me? But it's for that particular purpose. It's like a frequency that helps people with chronic issues and aches. And it's amazing that when my community started offering it to people, and I would get people who couldn't lift their arm for a decade. And then all of a sudden they put a patch on and they can lift their arm again. This is like, they were blown away, right? So I started doing research on pain in a big way. And I was like, 50% of our seniors have some type of pain, right? And then a lot of them have chronic pain issues. So I started a podcast called I Am Pain Free. That was my first podcast. I was just how can I help the world become pain free? Because our seniors are struggling, right? And so, yeah, I love the SPM thing. I've never heard of it before, and I'm excited to learn more about it because that's great, right? There's an awesome tool to just go get out and get those nooks and crannies. It's super important because there's so many people that are struggling with that issue right now.
Yeah, and it's not only pain. high sensitivity C-reactive protein, the number one cardiovascular risk factor marker,
Okay.
dramatically improved 43% in 8 weeks.
Wow.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah, think
Awesome.
about that. So
Yeah.
fibrinogen rates, so people at a high risk for blood clots, normalize in 8 weeks. This stuff has been fantastic at reducing and modulating the inflammatory response. So it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just pain, but cardiovascular risk factors. I'll give you a testimony for myself. I was working with Justin. He's our rep actually in Dallas.
All right.
And
Right. I've met Justin. He's a great guy.
oh yeah, okay, you met him at the event. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Justin, um, you know, he came to pick me up at the hotel. We were doing an event down in Houston, and I had my book bag, and I loaded up. I got books and computer and everything. And I just went to go put it around my back and just around the scapula. When that pinches, it's like ah.
Oh, yeah.
And I says, oh, not today. I got to speak tonight. I got about 25, 30 doctors coming to see me speak. So I got in the car with Justin. And I'm like, do you have any SPMs? He says, yeah, I have a bottle right next to you. I said, all right. So I took 3 with some water. And by the time we got to our appointment, it took the edge off. And I was like, oh, I can breathe a little bit. I took another 3 with lunch. And by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was gone. I was blown away by it. Right.
That's awesome.
So I take that every day for prevention. And those times that my neck or back or, you get little twinges from working out or traveling, if I ever get those, I'll take 3 twice a day for that therapeutic results. Fantastic. Without a doubt, the biggest innovation and change in our field in this entire century, over 25 years. So
wow. That's a
SPM,
big statement. I love that. That's
oh yeah, and it
awesome.
comes from Dr. Bob Rakowski right out of Houston, Texas. He's one of our brand ambassadors. So if you go to nutritionalfrontiers.com, you can see the SPM, the pro-resolving mediators. We have that in soft gel or liquids.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll make sure that we have a good link to your amazing site, because your site is awesome. There's so much good information there to help people. And the thing I love about what you do is, like, you don't sell to the normal consumer, right? You're selling to practitioners because your products are so good that the practitioners are using your products. And so I think that's
Yeah, if you're a
fascinating.
healthcare professional, you can reach out to us. We can work with you directly and your patients. If you're a
Yeah.
patient, you reach out to us. We can help you or direct you to the wellness center. So we're always trying to help people. That's what it's all about, Robin. I've been
Yeah.
completely blessed in my life. I don't feel like this is work. This is just what I do. I've actually recently had to back off a little bit because I was working 8 days a week. And it was like, all right,
Yeah.
everyone
That's
needs
too
a
much.
rest on Sunday at least. Yes.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. You need
I get so excited about it, but I have great people on my team, and we're just building this community of like-minded individuals that are in alignment with us, that have the same, purpose, passion, and plan, and that's all we're here for. So,
Yeah, I love it, and I think it's really fun how you are helping people in such a dramatic way, and the inflammation thing I want to tie in for a second is super important, because I'm not a doctor, right? But I did during all of those interviews with my podcast, I would interview practitioner after practitioner after practitioner after practitioner, and they would say, at the end of the day, you look at the research on inflammation, and it is the source of all disease. So it's like, literally, the source of all disease is like, oh my gosh, if you can get rid of inflammation, then guess what? You're going to help your body in all sorts of ways, right? So the fact that you have a solution to help people with
yeah,
inflammation
you
is
got to remember,
amazing.
like, inflammation is a normal biochemical process. The
Right.
challenge to the body is that this low-grade chronic inflammatory response. Why are people so inflamed? Well, number one, body fat, which we used to think about when I went to school as being inert. It's just a cushion, it's just a layer, right? Insulation. Oh, no, it's metabolically active. It is full of these pro-inflammatory, um, uh, messengers, right? So you have these pro-inflammatory cells inside the fat. So they're pro-inflammatory. So the more body fat you have, the more inflamed you are, right? So think about that. Food is pro-inflammatory. You go to McDonald's, get the cheeseburger, fries, and Coke. That's going to create inflammation. Dairy
Right.
products are pro-inflammatory. Sugar's pro-inflammatory. Alcohol, cigarette smoking, sedentary lifestyle. So just things that people put in their body by choice are pro-inflammatory, right?
Right. Right.
So the first thing people got to do is change their lifestyle, right?
That's right.
And
That's
what
right.
they are selling as food is not food.
Yeah, it's like this ultra processed food is unbelievable. When I started digging into that, because I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. But then when I started researching, like 70% of our food supply in the United States is ultra processed food. It's like, what? And then you say, okay, what does that mean? And you start looking at what ultra processed food is. And it's like, there's nutritional value is nothing, right? It's like, it's not what it's even the apples of today aren't near as good as the apple of yesteryear because our soil's been depleted, right? So it's just like,
and
it's really, really hard
think
to
about
eat
people
well.
that are eating processed chemicals. Dr.
Right.
Tracy has this saying, don't count calories, count chemicals.
Ah, there
So
you go.
if
Yeah.
you're waking up and having a breakfast cereal, there's a book called Cereal Killer, Cereal Killer, and it has a bowl of Fruit Loops on the cover. And we've been duped by who? Big money, Kellogg's and Post and all those companies. And then
Yeah.
people say, well, I have it with skim milk. I'm like, even worse. We're the
I
only
know.
species on the planet that drinks another species' milk.
Right.
It's insane.
And
So
I used to drink, Diet Coke, right? And then I started doing research on aspartame. I was like, what? That's
yeah.
ridiculous. I thought I was being healthy, right? It's like I'm
Yeah,
actually
you know why you
poisoning
drink it?
myself
Because it gives
worse
you a
than
mental boost, right? It's an excitatory toxin, and it's addicting. Just like the
yeah.
breakfast cereals, just like the breakfast bars, just like the donuts, the cupcakes, the Starbucks, all that stuff. These biochemists get paid big, 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 big bucks to make you addicted. You ever see the Doritos commercial? People licking their fingers.
Yeah.
The commercial for Lay's potato chips. You can't eat just one. Why?
Yeah, they
Because
taste so
they're
good. Your
addicting.
body wants another one. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was yummy. I need another, right? And then
And
by
I
the
ask
time
people, I says, how many bags of broccoli could you eat at once? You can't.
yeah,
It's too
you
filling with
can't. It's just
fiber and
too
nutrients in bulk. I says,
right.
but you can eat those chips all day long and you'll never feel full. They're just addicting.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it goes back to mood also, right? People eat these things, they drink the sodas, their moods are terrible. I work with Barbara Reed Stitt. She was an old school nurse. Her husband was a biochemist back in the 70s, and she was working with juvenile delinquents and found out, when she started interviewing these young men and girls, they all consume soda and a lot of chips and a lot of junk food like that. And she's like, I can't understand this. And then she met with her husband, and they started doing this is what biochemists do on the weekend. They
right,
started
right.
doing some research and says, oh, look at the pathways of what's in these toxins in the food, right? This junk, this is what it's doing to the brain. It's making the brain overexcitatory. It's making them aggressive. It's making them poor decisions. It's making them depressed, angry, pissed off, right? And I got it approved through Appleton School District in Wisconsin to change the food. That's all she did. She went in there, had the meetings. They actually approved it. She went to an organic, whole food-based food program in the 70s. In 1 year, disciplinary action was gone. Didn't have any
That's
problems.
amazing.
No fights in school. No one yelling. No one doing anything wrong. And their test scores, you ready for this one? Went up over 30%. Their scores.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. I
their
mean, just
scores went
imagine
up.
if we could have replicated that across the country, right? That's why I literally was on a podcast earlier today talking about, thank God for RFK Jr. and what he's doing with with the whole system, right? Because it's like finally our medical schools are going, at least some of them are going to start teaching nutrition, right? Imagine that. It's just like, holy smokes. It's like, that should be, the way our body works, we literally are what we eat, right? We become what we eat. And so if you don't take care of what you're putting into the body, and God made it this way, right? Where our body, it processes what we eat, and then our body utilizes it. And if you can give it good, healthy information, it will do what God designed it to do, which is heal itself, right? And it's like so amazing how we've done such a bad job of all of that. And my gosh, thank goodness we're at least getting some sanity. Our food pyramid finally went the right way again, right? We flipped it back over, and they're starting to teach nutrition in medical school. It's like, oh my gosh, thank God. So, we just need people like the woman you just mentioned who did that, what you said, decades ago, right?
70s, yeah.
And look at those results that happened there. It's like we need to start that now across the entire country and across the entire world. And so I know I'm only one person and can only do so much, but man, that's a big passion of mine too, and what I do with my day job, right, is to help people with their health. And I've created the light code system with red light therapy and frequency therapy and molecular hydrogen and the actual nutrition component and the faith component. That's my life, right? That's what I want to help people with. I believe that's why the Lord put me here on earth, is to help people with that. And I love that he put you here on this earth to help you. Early on, you were like, hey, I'm just going to be big and strong. And then you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much to this. And it's help you, right? You use nutrition to help you with your psoriasis, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, you get into the functional world and look at the impact you're having on people, which is amazing.
Yeah,
so let's talk about Nutritional Frontiers a little bit more. I want to know more about your product line. You have an amazing product line of a lot of products. One of them you talked about, which is super cool, but I know you guys sell a lot of other things. So explain the whole portfolio.
I'll give you a little quick overview of what's different about Nutritional Frontiers. One is our people. Right?
There you go.
I'm hands-on in the business. Christine's our chief growth officer. We have Jim Steiner, operations director. He's been in the field for over 30 years, worked with Douglas Labs for years. So we're very hands-on, right? We're very transparent. And we have an internal team and external team, including people like Dr. Tracy Strout. And we have 12 brand ambassadors: Dr. Len Bransowitz, Dr. Richard Silva, Dr. Maribel Verdialis, Dr. Bob Rakowski. These doctors are brand ambassadors. So they're actually clinicians, but they also speak for us. A lot of speakers these days just speak. These guys and girls actually speak, and they still practice. So our people are different. Number two is we're known for our formulations, right? There's plenty of product on the market, but if you got to take 7, 8, 9, 10 different products, it's too many. So I gave you an example earlier. I talked about Candikill for Candida, for psoriasis. Yeah. When I used to do nutritional consults before Nutritional Frontiers, that was 4 different products, Rob. Now, when I would give that to people, the first thing I would say is, well, which one do I need? I said, all of them. Well, why don't you put them all in one? I go, because it's not my company. And the next question is, well, when are you going to do your own? I go, it's in production. So Candikill, we put 4 different products in the one formulation called Candikill. It's designed to kill off the candida, the yeast, the funguses, and the molds, so that you can clear up your skin, you can get your blood sugar down, you can lose weight, you can reduce cravings, you can help with GI issues. So we're known for these custom formulations, and we use a lot of PRTs. PRTs are called patented research trademarked ingredients. Just like any other field, we'll have branded ingredients with the quality and unbranded generics. So we use over 50 of the PRTs, which is huge for a company our size and our age. And, we're known for these formulations because what they'll do is they'll get you better results because your compliance will be better. It's easy to take Candikill and a probiotic than it would be to take 6 products, right?
Right.
And then we're known for our wellness solutions. We have 12 different wellness solutions. So if, I ask the doctors, tell me the top 3 categories you see. Is it hormones? Is it blood sugar? Is it cardiovascular? Is it GI? Is it detoxification? Is it longevity? So we want them to focus on a category, and then we have all of our patient education program based on that category. And it really helps it out for the patients and the consumers too. So we have 12 wellness solutions. We have over 200 different formulations, and we're known for these formulas so that you don't have to buy as many things. So you get a better value. It's easier to do it, and you get better results. Our number one formula is actually called GI Complete. This will help heal and seal the gut. So think about anyone who has autoimmune, digestion problems, skin irritations. Most of our doctors and naturopathic doctors will always go after the gut first because that's the portal of entry into the body.
Yeah.
If you think about this tube from your mouth all the way through your colon, there's actually a pipe that goes through our body. It doesn't get inside your body until it's absorbed through the small intestine, gets in the bloodstream. The bloodstream's like your superhighway, transports it to an organ, gets in the cell, and actually does something. That's most of your immune system is in and around your gut.
Yeah, that's so true. People don't understand that. Like literally all the doctors that I interviewed, it's like it starts, and they say that it starts in your gut, just like what you said. So it's so true. Every single doctor is like, yes, because if your gut isn't processing the nutrients the way it needs to, the way it's supposed to, then like what you said, it just washes out or washes through, and it never gets in the body. So if you don't get the nutrients in the body, then you're not ever going to help yourself.
Yeah, or even worse, if you get the bad things in the body, it's called leaky gut or dysbiosis, because your intestinal tract, and I explain this for people listening so they can paint the picture. Think about, our Coast Guard. It doesn't live in Nebraska, it lives on the coast, right? Our immune cells are in the gut because most of the things that we come in contact with are ingested by choice, usually, or not by choice. And they have to be processed in the gut, and then they have to be broken down and absorbed into the bloodstream. Now, normally you would have your very thick muscle called the Malton galt, the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue, and the gut-associated lymphoid tissue. So those are muscles in your intestinal tract. They should be very thick and strong. And on top of that muscle, you'd have a villi or a filter or hair-like thing on top that lives on almost like sod or grass, okay? So that's designed to clean out any bacteria, parasites, mold, funguses, toxins, whatever it is, and you would excrete it out through the bowels. However, that's where all your probiotics live too. And what happens for a lot of people is due to a poor diet, stress, overconsumption of antibiotics, fungal, yeast, bacteria, whatever it may be, is a perfect storm. That villi or hair-like filter that should be covering the mucosal actually starts to get worn out and chewed away. Now the lining of the gut is exposed, and that starts to break down. You ever hear of colitis, diverticulitis, irritable bowel, right? Inflammatory bowel syndrome. These are all what's going on. So now, rather than being able to filter things out, those things actually cross the gut barrier, and they actually absorbed into the gut. So that's why I always tell people, get off dairy products, because those milk proteins are very hard to break down. And if you have leaky gut, they're going into the bloodstream. And when something gets in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there, what happens? The immune system, red alert, hit the alarm.
Hold it, shouldn't be there, yeah.
Yeah, and part of that immune response is inflammation. So you see how people have low-grade chronic inflammation due to their gut not working properly. So for where I'm sitting, it's a very simple fix, but people came in to see me as a nutritional consultant years ago, and they're scratching their head saying, I've been to medical doctors and they never told me this. I said, it's because, look, if you wanted new tires on your car and you took it to the muffler shop, they couldn't fix you. You're going to the wrong person.
Right.
But the medical doctors have this hierarchy in our country. So gut health is our number one category at Nutritional Frontiers. Awesome. Our number one formula is called GI Complete. This used to be 8 different products that we combined in one. Awesome. And it actually has a couple of PRTs in it, one including DMG. You familiar with DMG?
I am. Yep. You helped me with some of that months ago.
Yeah. Dimethylglycine. If you can't remember that, folks, darn mighty good. How about that?
Darn mighty good. I like it. DMG.
So DMG is the master methylator in the body. It has 3 U.S. patents, one of which is actually for melanoma in animal studies. They show the tumors, they inject the DMG, and you see the tumors shrink over about 8 weeks. Pretty wild stuff. The
Yeah.
other one is on autoimmune rheumatoid arthritis. Rob, you ever had, if someone has autoimmune conditions, they go to a doctor and the doctor told them there's no cure, it's all
Right.
genetic?
That's what you were told, right? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sorry, we can't help you. Yeah, it's like, what? It's like so
Yeah, and if
crazy.
you're listening out there and you're suffering from that, they'll probably say, let's start you with NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen and those things. And then
Right.
when things could get really bad, they're already telling you they can't help you. Hey, Rob, I can't help you. Let's take these medications.
Yeah,
And then when it
exactly.
gets really bad, I'll give you sulfasalazine and methotrexate. And, well, why don't you give me that now, doc? Because they come with some serious side effects. Oh, okay. But people just follow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks because that's how we were raised. At least, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, right? I can't speak for everybody else, but man, that's
Most
the
of
way
us
I
are.
was raised. It
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
when you get sick, you go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a pill, and the pill is the magic pill. It helps you with whatever you have, right? And then you're gonna get better. That was how I
Look,
was taught.
I'm not
Like,
anti anything, right? I feel that everyone has a time and place.
yeah, for
However,
sure.
the order has been flip-flopped.
Yeah,
Oftentimes, people go to the functional medicine doctor as a last resort.
right.
She should be the first doctor they go to,
Right,
right?
right. And then
I
if that
always,
doesn't work, then you go see the
and the functional medicine doctors will use diet, lifestyle, peptides, supplements, medical foods, prescriptions, hormones, red light, frequencies, ozone. They use whatever it takes, right?
right, right.
Whatever it
Yep.
takes, they'll use. However, they want to get the best result for you with the least amount of potential side effects. The more surgery, the more prescription medication you do, the more potential for risk factors increasing. So,
Make,
gut is our number one focus. It's our number one category. After that, it has to be bone joint inflammation, right? Because
okay.
you mentioned
Okay.
earlier about people in pain, older people with fractures, chronic inflammatory issues, even younger people working out, right, getting injured and things like that, or playing sports, car accidents, traumas, things like. So, and then you look at things like hormones, so thyroid, um, adrenal, and sex hormones. But if you go
Right.
back to the gut, the big thing for us is simplifying the protocol. So we have the GI Complete, which will heal and seal the gut. And then we have a formula. So we can put together a complete GI program in 2 formulas. The second one is called Probezyme. That was our original formula. It's called Probezyme because it's probiotic and enzymes, and it's
Okay.
chewable. So if you have heartburn or reflux and you take a capsule or a tablet, it's not going to do anything. The Probezyme is a chewable. It starts working in the mouth right away.
Oh,
It's
nice.
got a couple of key nutrients in it, including the optizyome, and that contains a digestive enzyme blend, including GD4, which is gluten digest 4, helps you digest gluten. So if you say, I
Yeah,
don't
got
eat
it.
gluten, and you go to restaurants, chances are you're still consuming some gluten. It
Right,
also
right.
has the lactospore, which is the spore-forming probiotic that you can use in a chewable. So pretty
Got
cool.
it.
Probezyme.
Yeah, Jamie. So we only have a couple minutes left, but I want to
Oh,
just thank you for everything that you're doing. And how do people get a hold of Jamie? Right? Just what's the
you
best way
can
to
go
get in
to
touch with you?
nutritionalfrontiers.com. Nutritionalfrontiers.com. You can check us out on any social media platforms, Nutritional Frontiers or Jamie Dorley. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I respond to anybody. You can also
Awesome.
email me directly at the company, Jamie, Jamie, at nutritionalfrontiers.com. Or you can call the office, 412-922-2566.
That's awesome. So I'm so excited to one. I'm going to spend some time with you in a few weeks. I'm
Yes, I was
going to
about to
be
bring
down
that
in
up.
Florida at your event. I'm so excited about that. It's going to be an amazing event. Just explain that real quick. I think we have about a minute left. So
Our professional training event, we bring over 100, 150 of the top healthcare professionals in the world, vendors, speakers. We have a whole lineup of some of the top speakers. And, really the theme is that, we're getting to this point now, the evolution of functional medicine, innovative solutions for complex patients, People are getting sicker and sicker. We need to bring the top people from the world around to share their protocols, their ideas, their testing, and their therapies together. And we're going to do that with some of the incredible vendors like yourself.
That's
We're going to
right.
enjoy our time at the beach. We're going to break bread. We're going to sing and dance and have a drink. And we're going to really enjoy each other. And we're going to invest in the best investment in the world, which is ourselves.
Very good. I'm excited to talk about the light code solution with people, talk about red light therapy a lot with folks, and our molecular hydrogen supplement. And I'm excited to talk to all the practitioners down there, and look forward to seeing you and breaking bread with you. And just Jamie, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, you're the man. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate all you're doing. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm so grateful, and God bless, my friend.
God bless you. Thank you, everybody. I want you to remember to believe, biohack, and become. Remember, if you have air in your lungs today, God has a plan for your life. Believe, biohack, become.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Join the community and get the show notes at biohackingville.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at biohackingville. Until next time, believe, biohack, become.